Okay, I have more to say, and I'm genuinely trying to say things in a nice way because I'm not trying to be nasty to people on here. I really do want to be my best self on this app. But I think there's something that's lacking in our world that is known as emotional regulation. And I'm sorry, I have a hair appointment coming up this weekend, and I need to start kind of separating and straightening out my locks so that way the hair appointment will go a little smoother. So I might just do that for a minute. But, okay. So my thing is this. I need us to take a pause. I need us to take a break. I need us to take a step back because I don't understand the heat that is coming from this conversation. Okay. I had a gentleman message me, and I'm not going to quote tweet. I'm not going to do a video reply to his comment, given how crazy things are in the comments. I still haven't read all the comments, and I'm trying to read and reply. If I like your comment, I have read it, okay? And I don't really have much more to add, but I really wasn't expecting this many comments. I don't usually get that many comments on a video, so I really wasn't expecting it to revisit since I know people don't go back and look for other videos and all that. I'm just recapping. This is not for Bat Mom. This is for anybody who's watching this video. I am asking you not to go back and harass this person. I already have somebody getting a lot of feedback in my comment section, and I genuinely don't need I don't need all those notifications. I'm happy to talk to y'all, but if it's just you and somebody else carrying on back and forth, take that to the DMs. Don't fill up the comment section like that, please. I was talking about the conflict sometimes I have when I reconcile between my Canadian and my Jamaican identities. And one gentleman decided to post and say that, I guess because I had mentioned I was leaning more into my Canadian identity, he had said, well, Canadians aren't going to see you as Canadian, they're going to see you as an outsider. I never thought that would get so much commentary, but I appreciate it. And I have no problems with people adding comments under the video to discuss what we have to say. That's fine. Have yourself a merry time writing a comment under the video to respond to what was said. What I do have an issue with is you going back to the original comment to say all sorts of things you want to say to the original person. I don't think that's needed, and I don't think that's necessary. Now, looking at it, he has 60 replies from you guys. 60. I'm sure he never expected that. He has 60 replies, right? And now I'm frustrated because it's like I want to have the conversations, but now it's like maybe I need to stop putting people's comments in the videos because you guys are now going to go back and cuss that person out if I say anything to them. We were having a discussion. We were talking about Jamaican identity versus Canadian identity. Somebody who was born and raised in Jamaica is not going to understand the nuances of the culture in Canada and vice versa. You know, I can't sit here and say I understand everything that happens in Jamaica and Jamaican culture. I visited once when I was 5 years old. I don't know anything, right? And so if somebody makes a comment, even if I think to myself, hey, that comment's a little off, I have to ask. I have to ask qualifying questions. I remember there was somebody who was writing in the comments and wrote something to the effect of, you're more Canadian than this person. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? And she said, well, because that person made that comment about you, we just want to say that because we don't like that specific kind of commentary, we accept you more as a Canadian than that person. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I thought, are we doing hierarchies between Canadians now? Like, what's going on? But you know what? I would not have known that if I hadn't just stopped and asked a question, right? Another guy wrote that I didn't look Canadian. And I asked him back and I said, well, what does Canadian look like? He said, no, I just mean you look like you have Jamaican features. And I was like, oh, okay. I get what you're saying, right? The whole point of this app, the whole point of TikTok, for me, is to talk to people. I give you guys my thoughts, my opinions, a lot of times my complaints, I'm not gonna lie. I give you guys my thoughts and opinions, and then I listen to what you guys write, and then I write back, or I make a video back if my writing is gonna be too long. If I get to the point where it's a paragraph, I'm like, you know what, we're doing a video, right? But what I need from people who are watching my account is emotional regulation. Emotional regulation, okay? If I have come on this app and I've tried to write comments, unfortunately, TikTok no longer allows creators to pin comments. So even though I'm writing comments saying, please stop harassing Kevin, and I've written comments saying, please stop harassing Kevin. I've made a video saying, please stop harassing Kevin. You guys are still coming through to harass Kevin. And like, I feel really bad. And again, Kevin, if you do watch this video, I'm really sorry. I didn't know that this comment would blow up as much as it did. I forget sometimes how sensitive people in Canada can be about, you know, people feeling like they belong or they don't. And so I didn't think of it in that context. I was literally thinking it in the context of our conversation that we were having, comparing and contextualizing Jamaican identity as a person who is of that heritage, but not living in the country and not really participating much in the culture. And I'm gonna ask people to simmer down, you know, because I'm gonna tell you guys right now, when people start arguing too much with me in the comments, block, because I don't have time. I have a job, okay? I have a job. And maybe some of you need one. And I'm not trying to be mean, but some of you need a job. Some of you need a hobby. Some of you need things to do, okay? I don't think we need this much pile on. And the fact that I'm coming back and saying I wasn't offended by the comment, we were just having a conversation, we're just trying to work this through. And I'm trying to ask you, let's go through the comments. So you said to me, hey Kevin, since you are not from this country, we the Indigenous ask you to pack your bags and leave. She can stay here as we do not need your hate here. She's safe. Go away now. We're bored. And then I replied back to you. And I said, I have asked people to stop coming to harass Kevin. Please cut it out. He and I were just talking. Can we be civilized? And your response was, then why post this to begin with? And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, why did you think you could come to my comment section? And when I'm telling you, please cut it out. Like, we're having a talk. It's okay. We're good. And then, well, why post this to begin with? You sound like somebody who is not emotionally regulated. You sound like somebody who needs to see a therapist. You sound like somebody who needs to take some time in your life and breathe. Maybe take a yoga or Pilates class. Get some therapy. Spend some time resting. Take a nice swim or a nice shower. Do something that will make you feel good. Because I feel like in today's world, particularly post-COVID, people just seem to be, how do I put this? People seem to be at the bit, just ready to just argue, ready to just shout and carry on and attack. And it's like, no, we can calm down and we can have a conversation. If a comment truly offended me, I would block that person, or you would see me being angry in the video. I wasn't angry. I was calmly and rationally explaining my thoughts. And I really thought we were having a robust conversation, and I see that the conversation has started to deviate. And while I'm happy you guys are here to defend me, I think that you guys have stopped a conversation in its tracks that I was having. And now I have to go back to just typing back to people instead of doing video responses, because now I don't know how people in the audience are going to react. Again, when I was doing these videos, I had 4 followers. I now have 300 people on this account just because of that one video I did. And I realized I'm having a whole lot of people in this conversation, and I need to figure out how I can manage that and manage this account better moving forward. So maybe some of the blame is on me, but please just don't add fuel to the fire right now. That's all I'm asking. Thanks.